Hello, my name is Liene and welcome back to my channel. Let's talk about my favorite reads of 2022. So 2022 is long over and it's time to talk about the books I loved. How do I decided that these are the books I'm gonna talk about? Because I gave them 5 stars on Goodreads. That's the only reason. And I have only 7 books. I think I might have had more favorite books, but 2022 was a weird year for me emotionally, like mentally, and I think I struggled to enjoy the reading, but I didn't hate a lot of books. Like when it comes to enjoyable reads, most of the books I read I liked, but I just didn't find most of them like something amazing. And I feel myself that it is because of my mental health that it affected how much I did enjoy the books. So I don't have too many books to talk to you about. I think I mentioned 7. So let's talk about the 7 books I loved from 2022. They are in no particular order, so let's just get through them. First book I'm gonna talk about is the book I put on this list the last, and it is Lidoje Seklinja by Evija Gulbe and illustrations by Evija Timonovica. This is a children's poetry book, and I would translate the title as The Seed Was Flying, and it is beautiful. The poems are really cute. I really enjoy the poems, but the thing that I love the most are the illustrations. It is so beautiful that I can't. It's just, look. Isn't it the cutest kitty illustration ever? It is a beautiful book inside and out, and I read it for my Cat Lady Readathon in November, and I'm glad I did. And I ended the readathon with this one, so it was so nice to end it on such a good note. It was such a beautiful and great book. Then I have The Sleeper and Spindle by Neil Gaiman. This is a fairy tale retelling, kind of a Sleeping Beauty retelling, but with a twist. And I didn't expect the dark twist it had, but it was really good. I really enjoyed like how interesting and different this one was. It is a beautiful edition and it has illustrations by Chris Riddle, so it is a gorgeous book and a really, really good and interesting story. So I really enjoyed how different it was. Then I have Rīgas raganas by Linda Nemira, or Witches of Riga. Linda Nemira is one of my favorite Latvian authors. I have read all her books, and this was her newest, and I really liked it. I have some things that, like, I didn't love at the ending how quick it was, but the overall story was really interesting. So it is about a woman who can communicate with the dead, and people are reaching out to her to help with like things like that. And then she meets a woman who kind of draws her in, and she has to unravel ancient, not really ancient, like 100-year-old mysteries. And it has to do with architecture, with the Jugend, as that's the English word for the architecture type thing. I don't know, but it was really interesting. I liked how she included the architecture and buildings in her story, and it made me want to go and look at those buildings in real life. And I can do it because it is set in Riga, in my city. So yeah, definitely an interesting read with its flaws, but I still loved it. The next one is a classic, and it is Animal Farm by George Orwell. And I didn't expect to enjoy it as much as I did, but it is a fantastic story. It is set on a farm. The main characters are farm animals. It feels weird, maybe, but if you know the history and if you know what this book is actually talking about, it is mind-blowing. So it was really good. I really liked seeing those parallels of the historical events that are happening here and that has actually happened in the world. It was so fascinating and so amazing. I can see myself rereading this one and getting even more from it. So definitely a great classic, kind of modern classic more, right? Next, Kindred by Octavia E. Butler. This is kind of a time travel story, but the time travel is not voluntary. It is not explained. The main character, Dana, lives in 1976, and then one day she is brought back in time to 1815. And Dana is a black woman, so imagine going back in the past where there is slavery in America, being a black woman. It is not an easy read, but it is so interesting. I loved the main character, and it was heartbreaking to read what she had to go through, what she had to witness. She goes back multiple times, like she travels back and forth, but not like, she doesn't make the decision when and what happens when she travels back and forth, but it was really interesting to see how she deals with it, how things happen. So it was definitely a really good read, and I recommend it. It was amazing. This one made me want to read Octavia E. Butler's books more, like other books. I really want to try something more from this author because I really enjoyed how the book was written, and yeah. Next one is Take a Hint, Danny Brown by Talia Hibbert. This is an adult romance about Danny and Zaf and their fake relationship. Zaf saves Danny and video of them goes viral, so they decide to fake date. And it was such an amazing book. It was so heartwarming and cute and easy read. And both of the main characters are just so great, especially Zaf. He's such a sweetheart. He's a man who loves romance books. He reads romance books. He's a romantic, and he was so cute. So yeah, definitely recommend this series of Brown sisters. I have read all of them now, and I think this one is my favorite. I think. But all of them are really good books, so definitely recommend reading this series. I kind of want to reread them now when I'm talking about them, because they were so good. So good. Definitely recommend. Amazing characters, interesting story, just it's great. It's great. And the last one is A Dowry of Blood by S.T. Gibson. I have 2 editions of this book because this is the one I originally read, because it was self-published first and then it was picked up and published traditionally. I got the other edition in a fairy lit box. This is a story about Dracula's brides. Specifically, more about one, Constanta. I don't know how to say her name, but Constanta. Hopefully it's the right one. And she's writing to Dracula. He's not named, like, it doesn't mention anywhere that he is the Dracula, but we understand what and who he is. So she writes to him explaining her side of the story, how they met, how their lives are going, and it was really interesting. Of course, you need to look up trigger warnings because it is a toxic relationship. It is not a good example of how relationship needs to be, but it is so interesting and it spans over a really long period of time because vampires, they are immortal, kinda. I was so drawn into the story that this is one of the first books I read last year, and I still remember loving it, like being amazed and being intrigued by the story. And yeah, I really want to reread it. I hope to reread it in January. I don't know when are you watching this video. Might have reread it already or might not. At the moment of filming, I haven't read, but I will reread this beautiful fairy lit edition. So yeah, it is a really interesting story. Definitely recommend, but be aware that it is not like a cutesy romancy thing. So, yep. So these were my favorite books. I think like it is a really interesting pile of books, like a lot of different things, but that is how my reading is. I feel like I enjoy and I read a lot of different things. So yeah, here you can see all of them together. Kinda, I feel like there almost is like a color pattern thingy going on here, but these were all the books I really enjoyed last year. Please let me know in the comments, what is your favorite read, multiple favorite reads of 2022? Let me know all of them if you want to, or just one, whatever floats your boat. So yeah, do it in the comments, and that's gonna be it for this video. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I see you in the next one. Bye! Like and subscribe. Press the bell to be notified. And in the description box, there are links to my Twitter, Instagram, and Goodreads, so you can connect with me there. Peace out.